episode 35.
That was so good.
That felt like the lamest but the coolest thing I've ever done in my life. That's the vibe of today.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Attitudes with Andy. My name is Andy, if you didn't gather that from the title of the podcast. And this is a platform where we get to learn and grow together. So I'm very excited to have you here so that we can know how to be our best selves. So welcome to the podcast. I'm very excited to chat with Brooke, who is the head coach of Heath Hyped, which is an online personal training service that empowers women to become their strongest and healthiest selves. Brooke is a bloody true force of nature, combining her expertise as a personal trainer with her passion for helping women to achieve their fitness goals. Whoop, whoop. What'd you say, sir?
Love that.
Oh.
Loving the intro.
Okay, today we will be discussing a wide range of topics with Brooke, including her approach to coaching, the role of mindset in fitness success, and the unique challenges that women face in the fitness industry. We'll also be diving deep into the importance of self-care and balance and how Brooke helps her clients to achieve lasting results through sustainable, healthy lifestyle choices. If you're looking to up your fitness game or you're simply curious about what it takes to succeed in the gym and beyond, you don't want to miss this conversation. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be inspired by the amazing Brooke Matheson. So welcome, Brooke.
Hello. I'm so excited.
It felt like I was advertising my podcast just then, and I was like, why did I put on that voice? But it's fine.
We love it. It's always an accent.
Brooke is not putting on an accent. That
No.
is her accent.
Yeah.
She's Kiwi and her outfit's cute AF if you're watching the video.
This is the outfit I actually wore with my interview with Chloe as well. So I feel like I've got like a bit of a vibe when I wear it. So
Yeah, you're like, this is actually my podcast gear.
yeah, absolutely.
These are my podcast jeans, I've decided.
You are, you're always in them.
I'm always in them. It looks like I wear nothing but like a white, pink or black shirt. So I was like, we're wearing green today.
Yeah, love the
To
green.
change it up. But welcome. I'm so excited to have you on. It's been a long time in the mix. Brooke claims she didn't see my message from November last year,
Who really knows at this point?
which is fine. I get it. But we're here today. So I would love to know, you're a personal trainer. What made you want to get into the personal training industry?
Yeah, so a bit of a weird one. I'm not one of those people that grew up and was like, I want to be a personal trainer. I actually kind of just got thrown in the mix of being a personal trainer, and now we're here. So officially when I was like moving out of high school, as always, no one really knows what they want to do. Like, it's so hard just going out of high school straight into university. So at the time I had a partner, so I stayed in my hometown, and there was only a polytech in my hometown. It wasn't like a full-blown university. Applied for a scholarship, got a scholarship, and so ended up having to study at that polytech regardless. And
Wait, what's a polytech?
Polytech is like TAFE, I assume is the equivalent here. However, the course that I ended up doing there was a uni degree at the same time.
What was it?
Sport, recreation, and exercise.
Okay, so you've always been like
Yeah.
into fitness?
Yeah, into fitness always, like netball growing up and everything. But I originally wanted to go to uni for psychology, but that polytech didn't have psychology. So the only thing that really resonated with me at the time was sport, recreation, exercise. So that's how I got thrown into that degree. And now we're personal trainer. So yeah, like I said, it wasn't something I ever actually wanted to do. I am such a fitness advocate, like loved it growing up, but I never really thought about working in the fitness industry until then. Yeah.
Okay, and then so you finished that and you're still in NZ.
So, a bit of a complicated story.
We love that.
I did 2 years in New Zealand, and then I decided I needed to get out of my hometown, so moved to Australia. Did a gap year, and then I was like, right, you need to finish your degree. So I did my personal training certs and everything through my first year of my degree. And then I finished my third year of my degree last year, which is very exciting. So now she's fully qualified with her degree, which is amazing. Yeah.
That's huge because, by the way, for context, everybody, we had Chloe Bramage on the podcast, which is the founder of Heath Hyped, which is where you're the head coach at.
Yeah.
And she talked about how when you first started working for her, you were working full time at a different gym?
Yeah.
And you were
So
the manager
I
or
was,
something?
studying and working full time, which I wouldn't recommend, but
How many meltdowns did you have?
a lot. Look, I would
A
get
lot.
to the gym at 5, get home at like 8 o'clock, and that was my life. Yeah, so it was amazing. So taking a step back from like full-time study, full-time work has been the best thing, honestly.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you started working for Chloe,
Yeah.
that was a big thing because you were having a full-time income and then you went to a part-time income.
Yes.
Which, like, when I heard that, I was just like, you're a different breed in the best way possible because that's so brave because you clearly must have seen something in Chloe that you were like, this is going somewhere, I'm going to back it. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, people logically would be like, well, logically, that doesn't make any sense. But now it's paid off.
Absolutely, yeah. So at the time, I was managing a gym, like you just said. Absolutely loved it, but I just knew I was meant for more. Like I had this itching desire that I was like, I need to be helping as many girls as possible. And at the moment, managing a gym just wasn't really doing that. It wasn't serving my purpose fully. So when I had the interview with Chloe, it was almost like this just unmatched energy. And all of a sudden, we were just like had the same vision. We always have been running with the same goals. And ever since then, it's just been absolutely amazing. So I really saw a vision in her that I saw in myself. And that's when it really just kind of connected. Yeah.
That's huge. And you guys really are like power couple.
Thanks.
Like what you've built is just crazy. So for people who don't really understand online PT, it's kind of like a new world, I feel.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Because people are like, but I thought you were meant to see them in person.
Yeah.
What does kind of health hyped do for women?
Absolutely. So we provide them with programs which are individualized to their health and fitness goals. So whether that is programming, weight training, some people love to do some cardio, we do some like running programs, like literally whatever their health and fitness goals are, we'll program it towards them. With nutritional based as well, that is all individualized. Some people love nutrition, other people don't want a bar of it, so it really just depends what their goals are, but we just make sure they're all individualized we always lock them in for 16 weeks just to make sure we can actually get their health and fitness goals across, because as we know, health and fitness is not something you can change overnight. It's something that's going to take a prolonged period of time, so we always come from it from a sustainable standpoint as well, just making sure it's going to be kind of forever lasting too.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And I feel like online you're able to see a lot more clients.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very time collapsing.
Time collapsing.
Yeah, well, when you think about it, if you are personal training in person, you've got to be with them for half an hour to an hour or sometimes an hour and a half. Whereas if we are checking in with our clients, that can take, if I'm doing a Zoom call, half an hour, but essentially you can do a Zoom call within 15 minutes if they don't need to talk about that much as well. So it really depends on the person on how much guidance they need every single time you call them. But if you're an in-person PT, regardless, you have to be with them for an hour and a half. And so being able to really make sure that you're coaching as many people as possible online, but still having the capacity to be able to help them at the same time too. Yeah.
And is it more like paying for a PT like 3 times a week versus getting an online coach who's going to give you programs and still keep you accountable? Isn't that financially better as well?
100%.
I'm assuming.
And I don't think many people understand that. And that's where it's the whole new culture of online coaching is it's so much cheaper, but people still go, oh, well, I can't afford $90 a week. But if you're doing it in-person PT 3 times a week, that's probably $90 times 3.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're giving you a program that could be 3, 4, 5 days a week instead of doing it in-person PT for, once a week for the same price. Yeah.
And what's the power of having someone holding you accountable? Like, how people are like, well, I could just buy a program and just follow it and be fine.
Yeah. But I guess the question is, are you actually going to do it?
Ooh.
And at the end of the day, if you go into the gym and you're following this program, how many times do you go, oh, I'll just do that exercise tomorrow? Or, oh, I don't really feel like doing that today. I'm just not in the mood, so I'm just going to do it next week. Whereas when you've got a coach seeing the exercises that you're doing, seeing if you're progressively overloading or not, that's when the accountability comes into play. It's not just about seeing if a coach is, allowing you to do a program or not. It's really them holding you accountable to every single exercise, every single rep, every single set. Yeah.
And making sure that you're increasing
your
weight. Yeah, I had a little talk to myself and I was like, Andy, I haven't seen those weights come up in a while.
We need to see a PV happening here.
Yes. I was like, yeah, okay, so yeah. And then once you push yourself, you're like, oh, I can lift this.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's the best feeling.
Oh, it is. You're like, oh, I'm a weapon.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a quick story to tell.
Yeah, go on.
So This is really cruel, but it's also funny at the same time. So
Yeah.
I was at the gym and I was doing a cheeky superset, and I
Mhm.
was using like the lat machine or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And then I went over to use a different machine.
Yeah.
In between the superset, and there's these two guys like looking pretty young. We're just like, "You finished with that?" Like a bit sassy. It was just usually people are quite nice, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm gonna do a superset," and I was like, "You know what? I'll go finish that.
Yeah.
You guys finish that. We'll do a switcheroo."
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
And then he was like, "Yeah, okay, cool." So I finished my reps, and it's not a pretty medium weight for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then I just bung it down to like one of the heaviest weights, and then I go, "All right, boys, it's finished." And then they walk over there, and I hear one of them go, "Oh my God." And then because I could tell that there were two young boys together, I knew that they weren't going to change it because, you know, a little girl with pink bike shorts just lifted that. Anyway, and then I could see them going like,
I love that.
And,
That's
like,
the best.
sweating. And then
Yeah.
I'm doing a different movement and I'm just cacking it to myself. I'm like,
That is the best story I've heard in my life. I love that so much.
thank you. I thought it was really fitting. I didn't even plan to tell that story, guys. It just happened.
It was needed.
It was needed. Whew. Okay, so when clients come to you,
Mhm.
first of all, do you just specialize with women?
Yeah.
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 You're the girls.
Always have the past 3 years naturally.
Yeah.
Unintentional.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, 70% of my listeners are females.
Wow.
I know, it just happens. I didn't intend for that, but
Yeah.
probably makes sense.
Like attracts like.
Exactly. So what are the kind of the most common problems women come to you about?
Yeah. Cool. This is a hard one because I feel like most of the time they come to us without knowing they've got an underlying behaviour at the same time. So some people do automatically come to us and go, oh, like I've got a bad relationship with food and exercise. I've got an emotional attachment to food, binge eating, restricting, over exercising. Some people are under exercising. There's a very wide spectrum, I'm going to say, and every person is slightly different. Most of the time they do come to us due to having a restrictive behaviour with food and exercise. So whether that's overtraining, under eating,
Yeah, okay. And how do you usually go about that, like overtraining and under eating?
Mm-hmm. It's definitely looking about where they've come from, their history, and what has kind of triggered it in the past as well. So it is learning about their behaviours of what emotional attachment they have to food, why they feel like they need to restrict, what food groups they're restricting is huge as well, and then trying to get them to incorporate all of it back into their life. So whether that looks like not tracking at all from the start, because a lot of people, that's where it kind of starts to trigger from, is when they start to track calories and overall food, and it gets very overwhelming for them, which totally makes sense. There's so much going on, and if you don't have the education and knowledge from the get-go, it can be very overwhelming. So usually just taking the tracking opponent away, making sure that we're actually just exercising, 4 to 5 times a week, really giving them the education on why rest days are so important as well, because a lot of the time, like, we get told to rest, but we don't really want to because we feel like we should be moving, we should be doing more, but our body at the end of the day loves rest days. Like, it's what helps us build the muscle, it's what helps us has the energy to perform in the gym on the other training days. So really probably just providing them with the education and knowledge that they needed from the start. Yep, and just rewriting their whole story.
Wow. You guys are like wizards. But that's so powerful because I feel like a lot of people are trapped in like, I need to eat the smallest amount possible, be the smallest amount, and just hit cardio, which I feel like you guys do the complete opposite. You're like, lift weights, eat sustainably. What are the type of eating? Because from your Instagram, I'm like, this queen has a balance. She incorporates it all.
I do. I really do. I love food. Love ice cream. Love yochi at the moment. It's my current obsession. And fish bowl. Yochi. You know the frozen yogurt?
Oh, I've never had it.
That's criminal.
I'll have to go get some. But sorry, just had fish bowl.
Yeah.
Fish bowl is my weakness. My housemates will attest to this. I get it like every single week.
It's so good though. And GYG, actually. I'm an advocate for GYG. Yeah.
GYG is good, but I feel like it leaves like an after smell on me.
On you?
Like, I don't know. I just smell like a burrito.
That's not the worst thing because burritos are yum.
Yeah. Maybe I won't have it if I'm like going on a date.
Yeah, probably not the best idea.
Sorry, I smell like burrito.
But yeah, I love GYG. My favourite.
So you have a good balance with food. What about people who come to you and like, but keto or vegan? Well, vegan could be ethically, but you know what I mean?
Of course,
There's so many fad diets out there. How do you help tell the queens, no, it's all BS?
So essentially at the end of the day, again, it comes down to the education of knowing that intermittent fasting, keto, all of those fad diets work because you're in a calorie deficit. So you can still be consuming 5 meals a day and be in a calorie deficit instead of having to, not eat until 12, 1 o'clock. Because essentially intermittent fasting, if we just talk about that, works because you're not consuming calories until 1 o'clock. So you only have 2 meals and then you go back to sleep before you don't eat again. Whereas on a normal day, you would eat anywhere between, 3, 5, 6 meals a day. So you're just restricting the amount of overall calories that you're consuming. But if you just go into a calorie deficit and still, pair that with a normal sustainable diet, you're still going to be able to see the weight loss. So
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So what is like a normal sustainable diet?
Anything that works for you.
Ooh.
And that sounds so broad, but I basically, when I start with a client, go, okay, let's have a look at your normal food diary. Let's see what you normally consume for breakfast, lunch, dinner. Let's see what you have for snacks. Sometimes we may be able to change things around, but what we love to do is to try to enhance their diet rather than remove stuff from their diet. Obviously, there's a time and a place for having to remove certain things. Like if we're over, consuming sugar or we're not eating enough fiber, then we're going to have to add a lot of things in, take things out. But at the end of the day, it's whatever is going to work best for you. And if that means making sure that we are eating ice cream and chocolate every single night, then we're going to do so. Just making sure it's incorporated in every single day. Yeah.
I love that. So would you say your clients have more problems with their diet than it is like getting to the gym?
Yes and no. I think it's on and off. So with the gym, it's all about just making sure, again, it's whatever you can adhere to. A lot of people come to us and they go, oh, we want to train 5 to 6 days a week so we can get our results as fast as possible. But at the end of the day, the question is that sustainable for you? Are you going to be able to actually consistently train 5 to 6 days a week? Because if we're writing you a program, it's going to be tailored for you to actually be in the gym 5 to 6 days a week. Whereas if you can only make it 4 days a week, we need to tailor a program for you to target all of your muscle groups in the 4 days as opposed to 5 to 6 days. So again, it's really asking the question. It's like, be really honest and real with yourself. What else are you doing outside the gym? Do we have study? Do we have work? What are our requirements for sleep? Like, when can we actually fit in the gym? And then that kind of sets them up for success in the first place, because if they come to us and we give them a 5 to 6 day program, they miss a few days in the gym, they almost feel like a failure because they haven't gone, and then that kind of starts the cycle of not making it back to the gym. And I guess it's the same with your diet. If we give them a diet that isn't sustainable, and not many of my girls are on meal plans anyway, most of the time we just give them a lot of intuitive eating and just give them nutritional advice. But if we say something to them like, don't eat ice cream every single day or don't eat chocolate every single day, that's when it kind of starts the restrictive behavior, because then by the end of the week they're kind of craving it. So they sit there and eat a whole block. Instead of, if we just consumed a little bit every day, we wouldn't have the problem of feeling like we need to binge it at the end of the week, if that makes sense.
Okay, so it's very like tailored.
Yeah.
I
feel like I'm all over the shop with these answers, but
No,
enjoy it.
No, it's interesting. So how many times a week do you go to the gym?
Me, personally, anywhere between 4 and 6.
Nice.
And it changes because, for instance, this week I am on that week of my menstrual cycle. Nice. And so I wasn't feeling...
Me too.
Yeah, aligned cleans. So I haven't been feeling that great. Chloe and I usually do a cardio session once a week, but she's been away being unwell, so we've kind of skipped those the last few weeks as well. So it's only been 4 training sessions, but anywhere between 4 and 6.
Nice.
How I feel.
Yeah, I love that. See, 4 for me is like, that's a good week.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is a good week.
Yeah. So like 2 to 4, love. And then,
absolutely.
Hot girl walks.
Yeah, every day.
But like 6 is a lot. So what would you say for somebody who's like, I want to do 6, I want to get up to 6, but I currently do 2 training sessions?
Yeah.
How do people build up to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So build up. It's building the tolerance to be able to train that much as well. You've got to make sure that you're consuming enough overall, food to make sure that you're actually fueling your sessions as well. And it's really building up the tolerance for your muscles as well, because if you all of a sudden go from 2 to 6, you're not going to be able to walk by the end of the week. And sometimes I can't even walk after my sessions if I've had a week or 2 off, and then I go back and fully smash a really hard session. So it's really about building up the tolerance for your body, and just also understanding, again, is 6 really realistic, and why do you want to be training 6 days a week? Because we don't need to be training 6 days a week. We're probably putting more stress upon our body training and overtraining than we are just doing 4 really good sessions with intention.
Okay, I like that.
Mm.
So why I have a few questions and now I've forgotten how to English. My first question is, how does one build muscle?
Yeah. So a few components of building muscle. We've got the training and we've got the nutritional side. So the training side, essentially, when we are training, we're putting stress upon our muscles, which means that we're creating micro tears, essentially, which is the breakdown of muscle.
Okay.
It sounds kind of gross, but like at the same time, that's the realistic of it, is you create micro tears in your muscle, which then need to be built back up, which essentially builds them, bigger and stronger.
So like if I'm lifting something really heavy and I'm like, ooh,
yeah.
am I like doing little tears?
Yeah, so that's the stress upon the muscle, and then that's creating little tears in your muscle.
And that's good.
Good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
then it builds back stronger because it's like, we're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah, literally, yeah. So it needs to be repaired. And so
Okay.
that's where the nutritional side comes in. So you've got muscle protein synthesis, which is the build-up of muscle, and then you've got muscle protein breakdown, which is the breakdown of muscle. So that's essentially when the old muscle or the broken muscle is getting pulled away, and then we need to be able to consume enough protein to make sure that we are doing the protein synthesis part, which is building the muscle back up. So that's why everyone, when we're talking about building muscle, we're talking about training hard, eating enough protein, eating enough overall calories, because at the end of the day, it really does come down to that nutritional piece as well. Yeah.
Right. So what if you're lifting heavy weights, but you're not eating enough protein?
Then, so what we're trying to do is have a higher rate of protein synthesis than we are protein breakdown. So if we aren't consuming the right amount of protein, your protein breakdown rate is going to be higher than it is the protein synthesis. So it means you're forever probably going to be breaking down more muscle than you are going to be building muscle, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So the old myth,
Yeah.
the lifting weights will make me bulky. What's your thoughts on that?
Not true, because for one, us females, it's very hard for us to actually gain the right muscle in the first place because of all the hormones and everything. As we know, like, guys have more testosterone and everything, which helps them build sufficient muscle mass, whereas for us girls it's a lot harder. And again, it comes down to the nutrition. If you're not eating optimally, you're probably not going to be able to build actual sufficient muscle mass anyway in the first place.
Okay. So we're not going to get bulky.
No, long story short, no. And it would take years.
Okay. And so if people are like, okay, I want to lose a bit of fat.
Yeah.
What do you guys, because I feel like a lot of people go for cardio if they think that they want to lose fat.
Yeah.
Is that the right way to go about it, or how do you guys usually?
When we introduce cardio, it's essentially just increasing the amount of energy that you're exerting on a daily basis. So if you were only doing 4 training sessions a week and then you incorporate 1 to 2 more cardio days but stay nutritionally the same, you're probably then going to be in a calorie deficit because the energy you're exerting is going to be bigger than the energy that you're consuming. So that's when it comes down to the calorie deficit is always going to be the winner when it comes to losing body fat. And that's why a majority of people revert to the cardio, because it just increases the amount of energy that they're burning on a daily basis. However, it's not necessary. You can just increase another strength training session. You can increase your steps. You can maybe go on the treadmill for 20 minutes after your sessions. There's definitely ways around it without having to incorporate the cardio.
So you can lose fat without doing cardio?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. So does weight sessions help lose the fat?
Well, it's all about the energy. So if you're exerting more energy, so whether you do 4 training sessions, 5 training sessions, it doesn't really matter as long as you're exerting more energy than you're consuming with the overall calories. Yeah.
Okay. Love that.
Yeah.
Quick off-topic question.
Yeah.
But what is your reason for exercising 6 times a week?
Social at the same time as my own health and fitness goals. So my 4 training sessions that I do religiously are for my own health and fitness well-being. And then the other 2, the cardio I usually do with Chloe. That's just because we love doing cardio. We'll do it and then we'll have a work meeting afterwards. So that's nice and fun. And then the 6th one, we will usually go to Change or something on a Saturday. And again, it's just social. You get to meet new friends. It doesn't mean that I'm training 110% with intention. It's more just about going to make friends and having fun.
I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like the Gold Coast is perfect for that.
I know. And I don't know if you know, I've only just moved to the Gold Coast like 6-7 months ago.
Me too.
Yeah.
Wait, what month did you move to?
July.
Wait, that's when I came back in August. So we're basically the same.
Yeah, epic. Yeah.
Twins.
Yeah. So I originally was in Brisbane and I found it super hard to make friends there, whereas the Gold Coast, so much easier.
So easy because like the lifestyle here.
Yeah. Everyone's on the same page. Like you can message someone on Instagram, which is how I've made a lot of my friends here. go to a gym class, literally ask someone in the gym for a spot. Like, it's pretty easy to make friends here, I would say.
Literally. So if you want to make friends,
message us.
come to the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
And you can message us.
I suppose. Yeah.
Oh my God, this is one of my favorite questions. What is your morning routine?
Oh, okay. It changes, but
Yeah, love
I always have my fundamentals, and since they are habits now, I just know what I need to do and what I need to get done, and it doesn't matter what order it happens.
Yeah, okay.
Make my bed, drink a glass of water before I have coffee, 110%. I've actually just gotten back onto my skincare routine, and I'm so proud of myself for it, if I do say so myself.
Yes, queen.
Some form of exercise, whether it's a morning walk or go to the gym. If it's a rest day, probably a walk. What else do I do? I'm starving when I wake up.
Me too. Sometimes my stomach will wake me up.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you
Yeah.
feel that way. You know how people are like, I'm not really hungry till 10 a.m.
I'm like,
Can't
give me
relate.
food. So I religiously eat food. Whether if I'm going to the gym, it will be something quick. But if I have time, I will consume a proper meal because I'm starving.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, or journal.
Oh,
But it's not, sometimes it's journaling, sometimes it's gratitude. I always say 5 things that I'm grateful for, and it's not just, I'm grateful for going on a podcast today. It's like, I'm grateful for going on the podcast today because it means that my opportunities are expanding, like what it actually means to me.
yes.
Attach an emotional feeling to it. And yeah, read as well. Yeah.
Love that.
Even if it's just 5 pages, just getting my brain moving.
Getting it warmed up.
Yeah. It needs a good warm-up sometimes.
Actually, talking about warm-ups, do you promote warming up? Because
Yeah.
my housemate doesn't warm up before runs. Okay, and this is his reasoning.
Yeah.
He's like, does a lion warm up before it like prounces its prey or something like that?
Look, fair call.
Are you a lion?
So true. But yes, I would highly recommend a warm-up. It's basically just promoting blood flow to the muscles so then it's ready to go onto the pump.
I just skip and then do a quick little downward dog, little stretchy thing. Is that good?
Yeah, well, I would say if you're not going to warm up properly, so with bands and like dynamic stretches, then I would at least do a warm-up set. So instead of just going straight to like your bench press of 30 kgs, let's do 20 kgs, 25, and then start your working set at 30.
Warm up the body
Yes.
to it. So it's not
Yeah.
like, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. So I know we talked about like consistency in the gym, but I would love like a strategy because I feel like a lot of people will get into the gym. They'll be really good. Like I'm sure at the beginning of January, everyone's like, yeah, I'm so good. I'm smashing it. And then at the end of January, they're like, oh, schnitzels, like I've really gone off the rails.
Yeah.
What are some ways that people can actually stay consistent and go? Because a lot of people will say like, oh, I'm just not motivated.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's not motivation.
Yeah, exactly. And we hear it so much in the fitness industry. It's not motivation, it's discipline. And discipline is always doing things that we don't essentially want to do. So it really is just coming down to your why. Like, why are you actually going to the gym in the first place? Because if we are skipping the gym, then we're not actually living up to our why, and we're not, building self-trust by saying we're going to go, and then we don't end up going as well. So it's really about making sure it's sustainable. You can actually adhere to it. It's something you enjoy as well. If you don't enjoy it, you're not going to go. Like, simply put, if you were trying to force yourself to go for a run, you're not going to go for a run. And I'm sure we've all been there. Like, we've all said, oh, I'm such a runner. And some people are. Like, I ran a half marathon last year.
Queen.
I haven't run again since.
Really?
Because,
just not your cup of tea?
Yeah. And I fully forced myself to do it because it's such an achievement. Like, running a half marathon, so much fun. It was actually fun.
Yeah.
But afterwards, I'm like, you know what? My running year is over. And I don't need to be running to be fit and healthy, So just making sure it's something you enjoy. Like, don't force yourself to run if you're not a runner. At the end of the day, I would promote strength training, whether you enjoy it or not, though, which is controversial in what I just said. But we need to be promoting, strong muscles. We need to be promoting healthy bones, especially for our future selves as well. It's not all about our present self, even though we do have health and fitness goals now. We need to be looking for the longevity of life as well. And especially when we're an elderly, I actually talked about this on my Instagram story the other day. I helped a lady in the supermarket choose a protein powder because she wanted to put on weight. And I was like, wow, like that's such a reflection for our 20-year-old self. It's like we aren't always going to be concerned about trying to be the smallest version of ourselves. We need to be looking at the longevity of the whole process. So anyway, long story short, enjoying your exercise, making sure it's sustainable, and at the end of the day, if you do need accountability, hiring a coach, 100%.
Love it. Yeah. And then just realizing you're not always going to feel like doing it. But if you hate the workout, then that's probably not good.
Yeah, and it's really understanding and being a bit more intuitive with your body when you need the rest days and when you're just being lazy, simply put.
Yeah.
That's huge in itself, because rest is so crucial, like I was just talking about, for actually promoting, building muscle mass and making sure that we're resting enough, and sleep is so important. But it's also just really important to know that some days you're just not going to feel like doing it, but you still need to show up for yourself regardless, because at the end of the day, if your why is to be building muscle, you need to be showing up consistently. And so you're just going to be, prolonging your desired outcome if we just continually stop showing up for ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, and being like, oh, I just didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
I feel like once you're in there and you're moving, that's when you're like, okay, I feel so much better.
Well, I say that to my clients. I'm like, okay, well, we still want to be building the connection of you waking up and stepping foot in the gym, because that's the habit that we're trying to build. So if you wake up and you go, oh, I don't feel like going today, so you just don't go, you're going to start forming the habit of when you wake up not feeling so good and not going to the gym, right? But even if you're not feeling okay, even if you just still step a foot in the gym and you go, I'm still not feeling it, walk on the treadmill, you're still building that habit to get to the gym in the first place, and then it's just naturally going to happen whether you feel like it or not. And that's probably one of the biggest turning points of making sure that it is really consistent, is regardless building the habit of it. And if you get into the gym and you do one set and you're like, I'm really just not feeling it, like it feels really heavy today, jump on the treadmill, or at least you've tried, and at least you still built the habit of getting into the gym.
I love that. Yeah, trick yourself. Be like, oh, we'll just walk on the treadmill for 10 minutes. And then you're like, oh, okay, I'm kind of vibing.
Yeah, and you get warmed up and it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah. So do you recommend people kind of going first thing in the morning?
Again, it depends what suits you.
Yeah.
Because if you're someone that works 9 to 5, then of course you can get up and go before 9 o'clock, and then it means that you can go home and actually have a relaxing afternoon and not having to go to bed all stressed because you've got to get to the gym, got to make dinner, got to do my meditation or whatever else you want to do in the afternoon, and then finally go to sleep.
Yeah.
But if you're someone that works, 5 a.m. till 2 o'clock or something, then you're best suited to probably go in the afternoon, because you're not going to wake up at 2, 3 in the morning to go to the gym. I mean, some people do, hats off to them. Like, even I'm an early riser, like 4:30, but I'm not getting out of bed.
4:30?
Yeah, pretty early. Yeah.
What time do you go to bed?
8:30.
I love you.
Yeah, really early. This week, though, I've been getting up at 5, which has been nice.
Oh, a sleep in.
Yeah, that's a sleep in for me.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, I would love to talk about the old topic of feeling nervous in the gym.
Yeah.
I think this is quite common, especially for ladies. I know when I first started lifting weights, I went into the gym and was terrified. I walked in, there were no queens there. Yeah. And then I'm like lifting these little weights and struggling, and then these big guys next to me, and I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
And it feels really scary. Now I'm like, move out of my way, mother truckers.
Yeah.
So like, how do you guys go about that? Is that something you find?
Yeah, absolutely. All the time, yeah. And I think the misconception is that we still don't get nervous, but we absolutely do. Like, if I'm going into a new gym or if I'm in a new environment, there's always still going to be that little bit of nervousness, and sometimes I have no idea how to use the machines. I, the other day, had this new machine programmed into my workout. I was like, I don't know where it is in the gym. I don't know how to use it. And I walked up to the wrong machine. I was like, that's not the one. And then I was like walking around the gym and I was like, that's the one there. And then I like stood there being like, I don't actually know how to use this. And so like everyone looks lost in the gym, whether we're a personal trainer or not. And because there's so much new technology with half the machines as well, half the time you don't know how to use them. So the first thing is just knowing everyone gets nervous and everyone gets anxious in the gym setting. The second thing is getting really comfortable in the environment where everything is. If you are going to the gym at the same time every single day, you're more than likely to see the same person every single day. So just getting familiar with faces, because the more familiar you are with a face, the more that you just feel comfortable, whether you know them or not, whether you talk to them or not, you know that they're going to be there, and it's almost like this little comfort thing.
Yeah.
I just like wave and smile to girls, ask them for a spot, make friends with the receptionist. The more comfortable you feel in the environment, the more it's going to be easier for you to just walk in, do your boss bitch workout. I don't know if I can swear on here. And then continue with it. Thirdly, I would say is knowing the education and knowledge and the techniques of the movements you're doing. Because if you're going in and you go do a deadlift, for instance, you have no clue how to perform a deadlift, you're probably going to be so worked up and anxious about it, not knowing how to do a deadlift, more than just walking into the gym. So knowing that you can like look up on YouTube how to do a deadlift, hire a coach how to do a deadlift, like hire a PT in person, maybe for a one-off training session to show you how to do the fundamental movements, then you're going to be more confident going in and doing your session as well.
That is so good.
Yeah.
And I love that you're like, yeah, we all get nervous.
We do.
And also, but I realize if you look around the gym, I don't know about you, but like, I don't think anything of anyone apart from the rude boys. But like, I don't really think of anything. If not, I'm looking at people being like, God, that's impressive.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I love people watching, but it's from a perspective of, wow, you were lifting so heavy.
Yeah.
And I've made so many friends in the gym walking up to them being like, that was amazing. You just like leg pressed almost 200 kgs, like go queen. You absolutely killed that. And it's all about hyping each other up in the gym. And most girls, pardon me, most girls actually in my gym are online PTs as well. It's crazy.
Cool.
Yeah.
What gym do you go to?
EMF.
Oh, EMF.
EMF. Yeah.
EMF.
Yeah.
EMF.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and most girls in there are online coaches, and you can tell as well. But everyone is just so in their own world. Everyone's there for their own reason, to be themselves, to do themselves, to work on their own goals. They're not worried about anyone else's goals.
Yeah.
Because them watching you isn't going to help themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, no one really cares.
No.
But also, like, I have no shame in just like asking someone for help. Especially if like I need to reset something and it's like really heavy or too tall for me. If you just ask someone nearby, especially if you ask a guy, they're going to feel very good about themselves. They're like, oh yes, let me help you, little girl.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like in the gym you can tell the people that want to be spoken to and that don't want to be spoken to as well. So
headphones, hoodie on.
Yeah.
Don't speak to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. All right. Great answer. I love that one. Okay. So, wow, we've really nailed a lot of these. Well, what is it like going from being a PT in person to online? And was that kind of like strange, or like I'm a people person, so I'm like, oh, going from all in person to all online?
Yeah, it was a crazy transition. Really interesting, because in person you're able to help them with form by literally physically touching them and helping them as well. Whereas online, you've really got to know how to be quite verbally assertive at the same time too. And just being able to really transfer everything to, okay, well, I need to form a video so then she can be shown how to actually perform it correctly. And I use a lot of, if they send like a form video through, use a lot of drawing on my phone. So like a red line for this is where you are, green line, this is where we want our back to be, and kind of situations like that. So being able to change how you help people with form was a huge transition, especially going from, well, the biggest thing for me actually was in person, I was training a lot of adults and a lot of elderlies to now training young females.
Yeah.
So that was a big transition in itself.
A good one?
Yeah, I would say so. The elderlies and everything, they, bless their souls, like the most cutest people to work with. I actually fully loved it. I loved my clients, and that was like cool because we did a lot of stability work, a lot of balance work. So that was really interesting work. And with the young females, it's really more like behavioral, and yeah, I love both sides of it. But I definitely do prefer working with the younger adults for sure. Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, it's more intriguing because it's more mindset, it's more behavioral, like I said, whereas with the adults and the elderly, it's more just about they can still sit up and down from the couch, be able to run around with their family. So it's two different completely types of training. Yeah
And I feel like actually a lot of younger people are more happy to invest in online coaching or kind of know the benefits, which is more open to it. That's what I feel anyway. That could be a very like skewed perspective.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you wanted to study psychology, but also really interested in health and fitness, because I feel like now they're merging because you also help people with their mindsets, which is like awesome.
Yeah, that's so true. I've never thought of that.
There you go. Bang.
Yeah. Wow. That's actually crazy because it's so much fun, and it sounds weird that it's fun, but being able to help people rewrite their stories is actually the the emotion that comes up is so indescribable because it's just actually life-changing. And so many people message us being like, you fully changed my life. And like I said, a lot of people come to us not knowing they've got those underlying behaviours, and then we kind of bring it out of them and rewrite it for them. And yeah, at the start they didn't even know they had them. So when they leave us, they're like, wow, you actually were life-changing. And that's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Oh, I love that. And you've got a masterclass coming up for your body confidence.
Yes. So Tuesday we are running a body empowerment masterclass, which is talking all things about weight gain, about how to feel confident in your body, what that kind of looked like for me. It's more about my journey and my perspective of it all, and then how I'm able to kind of help my lessons that I've gone through to help others as well.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. I feel like now, I don't know about you, but like growing up, I always thought I need to be the smallest possible. And now I feel like the script has definitely changed where it's just like, be strong, take up space, be you. And I'm like, yes.
It has changed immensely, and I've seen it over the last year as well. A lot of clients coming to us now are wanting to build strength. And a lot of the time they want to do both. They want to lose weight and build strength, but they're pretty happy to go through a surplus, building muscle phase to then go through into a deficit to then go back to maintenance. And our biggest goal at the moment is really just making sure that we educate them on why we should be at maintenance and be in a surplus every now and again to be able to build that muscle, and just making sure that we're not always going to be in a deficit, because at the end of the day, it's not the healthiest thing for our body. And yeah, like losing body fat is amazing, but at the same time, are you really wanting to live life, or are you wanting to, restrict yourself all year long? So it's just making sure that you are still being a human at the same time.
We love being human.
Exactly.
And what is it like working with Chloe and taking that big leap of faith in her? Like, honestly, it is a big leap of faith.
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's been such a year, so transformative for herself and also myself, and together as well. I'm so grateful. So grateful. I can't even put words, and she knows how much I love and respect the job as well and value it so highly. It's amazing. I've got full, basically, freedom of being like, okay, maybe we should do this, maybe we should do that. And we really bounce off each other because, like I said, we've got the same vision, we've got the same end goal. And at the end of the day, that just niches together so perfectly. And she's got full trust in me and I've got full trust in her. And that's something that we've had from the get-go. And a lot of people ask how you built that trust, how did you build your boundaries, and it was just an unspoken thing from the start. I knew her boundaries from her vibe. You can just tell her boundaries, and I feel like she was exactly the same with me, and from then it's just been so easy. Yeah, it's been amazing. And she trusted me full from the start, being like, okay, so this is how much money I require to obviously be living. It's not about the money at the end of the day. We're here to help as many females feel empowered in their own bodies, but at the same time, you've got to be able to afford to live, especially when I left a full-time job coming to a part-time income. And so she helped me build up pretty quickly and pretty smoothly, which was amazing. And yeah, now it's just comfortable. That's great.
I love it. I love how you guys speak about each other. Like, you can really feel it. And if you guys haven't listened to Chloe's podcast, go listen to it because it's so cute. You're going to be able to hear each other.
I cried listening to it. When I was walking along the waterfront, I cried.
Oh.
No, I love it. It's so special.
It was. I don't know. It's just, it was meant to be.
Yeah, exactly.
It was meant to be. So we love to wrap up each podcast with the Fast Five.
Yep.
So I'm going to
I'm nervous.
5 questions. You're going to answer it as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, first question I have for you.
Yeah.
How many litres of water do you try and drink a day?
Oh, I'm shocking.
Really?
Yeah. I've got my Frank Green sitting there. I've taken about 2 sips of her today. That's why my morning routine involves a glass of water, so I know I'm getting in water. But I try to drink at least 1. It should be 2. I know.
You're a monster.
Yeah, I preach it to my clients and...
Guys, you just really need to drink water.
Yeah.
The clients are listening to this like, you liar.
I try to be good.
Do what she says, not what she does.
Yeah.
Okay, that's monstrous. I think I drink, honestly, 3 or 4. I do go to the bathroom a lot, though.
Yeah, literally. I feel like I'll drown.
Okay, what is your favourite type of workout?
Oh, upper body.
So like cardio or strength upper body?
Strength upper body. I've started to grow to love lower body again. Mm-hmm. And I love a good cardio session, but upper body, I just feel like a bad bee. Love it.
I couldn't agree more. I love an upper body. Lower body, I'm like, bleh.
Yeah, literally. And it's cardio. My heart rate's at like 160. I'm sweating doing lunges. It's not great.
I love that. Yeah, I make my lower body first exercise in the week, so
Same.
just get it done. Yeah.
And then my second lower body is with a friend.
You're like, I need the moral support.
I do. Yeah.
I just do one lower and we'll do a full body, but
Yeah,
I
that's
can't
fine.
do two lower.
Yeah.
Anyway, what is your favorite book?
Oh, I recently just finished, again, I've read it twice now, is Make It Happen
Ooh.
by Jordana Levin, I think, off the top of my head. Jordana Levin. It's literally is from Kmart, and it's just about manifestation.
Ooh, love a good manifest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And I think that book was really the book that probably changed my whole life. And that's huge to say. And I've read it twice now.
Wow.
Love it.
And what was the biggest takeaway?
Just knowing that your purpose and everything in your life is already within you. And if you can dream it, you can already have it. So just being able to almost live in the future while living in the present. Yeah.
I have heard that a lot from kind of, I like to YouTube, manifestation.
Yeah, of course.
And then you like manifest your future and they're like, it is already happened because you can see it. And I'm like, well, we're in for a treat. But I believe that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Obviously, you've got to make actions towards it as well. But
100%. You can't just sit there being like, guys, I've manifested it, so we're all good. But I don't think you would be able to fully feel like you're there if you weren't taking the actions. It would feel fake and wrong.
100% agree.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Okay. I'm probably going to ask more than fast five. But what is your favorite quote?
Our thoughts aren't reality.
Our thoughts aren't reality.
Yeah. I literally have it tattooed on my ribs.
Love that. Okay. So is that the same as like don't believe everything you think?
Yeah. So essentially this is actually from my last masterclass, and it was we have 50 to 80,000 thoughts every single day.
That's
huge.
A lot.
80% of those thoughts aren't true. And 90% of our thoughts aren't original. We've had them before. And so it's when you think about something and then attach an emotion to it and do the action that it becomes reality. So if you just have the thought and leave it as a thought, it's not reality.
My whole life is a lie. No kidding.
Well, it's almost like manifestation, right? We all manifest having this big white Queenslander on the beach. But if we all thought that, we would all have it. So our thoughts aren't reality until we make it happen.
So pick the good ones.
Yeah.
Bin the bad ones.
Yeah. Leave them aside.
Negative self-talk, you're out.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I do really like that. That's good. And just, realizing actually just because I thought that thought doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah, well, for me, it was a huge anxiety piece. I come from a background of crippling anxiety. And for me, learning that my thoughts aren't reality, not everything I think is going to come into fruition was massive. Such a changing point.
Brooke, I hope you're thinking about past Brooke right now.
Yeah, crazy.
And just thinking how proud she'd be.
So crazy. Like, I used to not even be able to go to my uni classes. Crazy.
And now you're sitting on a podcast in front of a camera, an aggressive light in a studio. Oh my God, I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thanks.
And you're just so natural.
Yeah, I'm proud of my younger self too. Little self.
I love thinking about little self.
Yeah, I know. So cute.
Yeah, literally. Okay, the last question I have for you is if you could embed a thought, habit, and mindset into the listeners' ears to better themselves, what would it be?
Oh God, that's a huge question.
I know, isn't it fun?
Isn't it fun? So much fun. Honestly, do what's required of you for your future self. Not through the expectation and perception of other people. Do what's actually required of you. 100%.
What do you mean by that?
So, for instance, let's just go back to the health and fitness. If I am wanting to build strength, and so what's required of me is to go to the gym 4 times a week, eat enough protein, eat in a calorie surplus, that's what I need to do. But if you've got friends and your family saying, don't do that, you're going to get too bulky, you're going to gain too much weight, what do you like? Do you want big thighs? I don't know, whatever your family's trying to, inbred into your brain, just making sure that you are actually doing what's required of you and not letting anybody else's perception or expectation on your health and fitness goals have a reflection of that.
Oh, that's good. So stay in your own lane.
Yeah.
You know what you need.
Absolutely.
Don't listen to anyone else.
Yeah, well, most of the time those limiting beliefs do come, unfortunately, from our childhood. So, yeah.
Bang. That's good. I actually have one last question. It's a really, really important one.
Yeah.
Would you rather fight 100 hang on, let me word this right. 100 duck-sized horses or one duck-sized horse? No, horse-sized duck.
Horse-sized duck. Okay, for one, I'm kind of scared of ducks in the first place. So that question is terrifying because I got chased by them when I was younger. Probably a horse-sized duck.
A horse-sized duck.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
It is big, but at the same time, I feel like I could climb a tree or something. Or like, I don't know. But like 100 of them, you've got no chance. I'm sorry.
I know. I was like 100.
You would be literally stampeded. Whereas like one, at least you've got a chance of doing something. I don't know.
You just break it in. You start writing it.
Yeah, well, you could.
I've never ended a podcast so weird, and I kind of love it.
I'm here for it too.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your knowledge.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate it. You have brought a lot of value. If people want to find you, where can they find you and where can they find Heath Hyped?
Yeah, so just Brooke Matheson on Instagram and Heath Hyped on Instagram. I've also started a YouTube channel as well, which is very exciting. And I think that's it.
Cool. What's your YouTube channel called?
Brooke Matheson.
Oh,
Nice
makes
and
sense.
easy. I think.
Are we
I
doing
think
like
that's it.
vlogs on there?
Yeah, weekly vlogs.
Love a good vlog.
Yeah. I'll chuck this in here at some point too.
Yay. So excited. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. If you did enjoy it, please feel free to screenshot it, put it on your story, tag us. We'd love to know who's listening and where. And just think about how you heard about this podcast. Hopefully it was from a friend like posting it or sharing it, and that is how we grow. So if you think this could be of benefit, please feel free. You can leave a review, you can click follow, all the good stuff. And we post every Monday and Wednesday. So I'll see you guys next week for another episode. Bye.
Bye.
Adios.